Aye, shepherd's pie. Greetings from the Philippines. Welcome back to the channel for a walk and a talk. We'll have a little chat today about your typical Filipina and what she wants, because it is my considered opinion, after being here a length of time, that your typical Filipina only wants you for one thing. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm saying that now because I know there are a lot of angry expats out there who love to watch videos obliterating Filipinas as being gold diggers and all the rest of that, and after your money and single mums are terrible and all the rest of it. Well, this is not going to be one of those vlogs. So if that's what you're looking for, stop watching. I'm going to premise this as I always do with my videos. I am no expert. I am just chewing the fat. I am just sharing my observations with you. And there will be exceptions to the rule. There always are. What does this goat want? Does it want to be friendly? I don't know. They walk towards you, and then you walk away and they start talking to you. Anyway, there you go. Yeah, what does your typical Filipina want? I think she only wants you for one thing. And as I say, there will be exceptions to the rule, as in any country. Well, you get good and you get bad. I have a good friend over here who is a good man, and he has been in a bad relationship with a Filipina. Aye, shepherd's pie. Greetings from the Philippines. Welcome back to the channel for a walk and a talk. So what does your typical Filipina want from you? Because I think there's only one thing they really want from you. And this is my considered opinion. You may well disagree, but I have been here for approaching 2 years now. Got a few months to go till I reach that point. But I'm a bit of a voyeur, in the sense, not the naughty sense, in the sense I like to watch people. I like to think about things. I like to observe and draw conclusions. And one of the things I have grown to love about the Philippines is the simplicity of the people here. They are simple folk. And I don't mean that in a condescending way. One of the things about the West and people from the West, we're a lot more complex. We tend to have a lot more insecurities and neurosis and the things that come from a privileged lifestyle. It's a lot more difficult, I have found, to trigger a Filipina than it is a Westerner. When you're chatting, you don't have to watch what you're saying to the same extent. They're simple folk. A friend of mine said a couple of months ago, they're simple, and in many ways they're naive, but it's an innocent naivety, and it's nice. I like Filipinos, and because they're simple folk, I'm generalising. As I say, I'm not saying it in a bad way, and they're not as complicated. I think it's easier to draw conclusions as to what they want, what their aims and objectives are, because their aspirations seem to be a lot simpler than your average Westerner, which I don't think is a bad thing at all. Now, I might pan the camera round in a minute, I might not. You see, I know you probably don't want to look at me and you want to look at the beautiful scenery, but the trouble is, it's approaching sunset. I've started making videos later in the day because it's cooler. But the trouble with that is you've got to avoid the sun because you don't want a glaring sun behind me. But when I get the opportunity, I will pan the camera around. But for now, this is the best option, I'm afraid. Now, I'm going to generalise here because there are exceptions to the rules. You will find gold diggers over here. You will find people without the best intentions when they go into a relationship. And I'd suggest you're more likely to find them on dating sites than you are out and about meeting people. But they exist, they do exist. I have a good friend over here, great bloke, and he ended up in one of those relationships. I'm going to pan the camera around now because the sun's behind me. And it was painful to watch. It really was. And everyone warned him. I didn't warn him because I didn't know him as well as other people. And he's seen the light now. You know, he has seen the light and he knocked it on the head, God bless him. And he will go on forwards and onwards to better things. But they are out here, you know. There are channels out here which you watch and my God, people seem to lap it up. How terrible Filipino women are and how they are gold diggers and they'll take you for everything and, you know, stay away from single mothers, you know, they're the worst and all this kind of stuff. And to be honest with you, I think most of that's bollocks. There will be some, of course there will, but there will be, let's we say, women who are not good partnership material in any culture, in any country. I think, honestly, you're less likely to find them in the Philippines than you are in most countries in the world. So, what is it that the typical Filipino wants, in my opinion? And I say I'm not an expert. I think she wants a better life. It is as simple as that. She wants to improve her lot in life. And probably a landlord if she's got one. But that's it. And what does your average expat come to the Philippines for? A better life. You know, that is the reality. I think that's why so many Filipinas and so many Westerners end up in relationships. Because we're both looking for the same thing. A better life. Now the trouble comes from the fact that we might have different versions of what that better life may be. In fact, we're bound to, because we come from very different cultures. But I certainly don't think your typical Filipina is as conniving and as manipulative and as scheming as many channels would like to lead you to believe. They're just not. Now, is that my opinion? Yes. Is it just my opinion? Yes. But I firmly believe it. But then people always do believe their opinions, and that's the trouble. But the reason I'm making this video is I was at a party the other week on Sunday, and there were a number of couples there. And as invariably happens at get-togethers like that, the women ended up in one room, they were doing the cooking and sitting together and chatting away, and the guys were in another room, sitting away and we chatting and, you know, having a few beers, enjoying the food. And it was a great day. But as invariably happens at the end of the day when you go home, Ellen and I have a debrief. She asked me what we were talking about, I asked her what she was talking about, and the old Filipinos, they love the old meritas, the gossip. So she tells me, and I pretend to look interested. But one of the things that did interest me was the fact that they had a housekeeper. They had a single housekeeper. Seemed nice enough, didn't really have much to do with her. Say she was in her early 30s. But it came up in conversation when, amongst the chaps, because she's quite new to the family, they haven't had her long, that she was a single mother. And most of the guys that were there, with the exception of one, for definite, maybe two, were in relationships. And these are long-term relationships. I mean, the guy whose party it was, I'm not sure how long they've been married, but it's 30 plus, and I think it's a long way past 30, because they lived together in the UK for 28 years. He took her to England. They lived in the UK for 28 years. That's why she is such a great cook. And they came back to the Philippines, and now they're living the dream in a wonderful house. Now, some of the other guys I know quite well. They've got kids with their wives. They've been together, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 years. So they're all long-term relationships. Gonna turn around now and head back, because the road will be too noisy. So these are real relationships. There is no, you know, these are not gold diggers. These are people who have been together, are in serious marriages, they've had kids together. You know, clearly they married for the right reasons, and they have stayed together. And the reason I'm telling you this is because apparently Ellen was telling me they were all trying to talk the the housekeeper, or suggest that she should hook up with one of the single expats. And there was been a massive age difference if they had done. I'm going to turn the camera around now because you're going to get the sunlight. Now, why is that significant? And there's been no movement on it. They didn't talk. Whether they were teasing her or whether they were serious, I do not know. But the point is, knowing those women, they weren't suggesting that they hooked up together or she got with him because she could take him for everything he's got, because they're not those kind of women. They're not like that. And the proof is in the pudding. You can tell they're not like that because of the length of time they've been together. I mean, that is the reality. So why would she hook up with him? Why were they suggesting it was a good idea? Well, because she's a single mother, she won't be on great money, and she'll be having a tough life. And if she ended up with him, she would hopefully have a better life.
Hi.
Hello, hi. Now the question is, why would he hook up with her, if hypothetically they did? Well, for a better life, for company, you know, to enhance his life. That's the reality of it. They would both be looking for a better life. They would be hoping to find happiness together. And I honestly believe it's as simple as that in the Philippines. Now, I know I haven't reinvented the wheel here, but the reason I'm talking about this is I get so annoyed when I watch these vlogs which portray Filipina women as just being in such a negative light. And here's a note to the people who are watching my channel who don't like it. There's a guy that I used to watch, only for a small period, who fits the bill that I'm about to, or the bill I'm talking about now, the description. And I don't like his channel. I don't watch his channel anymore because I don't like it. So if you are one of those people who hates my channel and likes to put the old trolling comments and things like that, here's a note to yourself. Don't watch it. Don't put yourself through the trauma. Don't upset yourself. Is your life so shit that you have to spend it watching things you don't like, listening to someone who triggers you? Maybe it is. I mean, don't get me wrong. I am grateful that you watch the channel. You know, it all helps. The negative comments don't bother me, although there was one. One did trigger me the other day, and it's the only one that has triggered me in a long time. And I shouldn't tell you how he triggered me, because that will just give the trolls an insight to how my mind works. But sod it, I'm an open book, everyone knows that on this channel. He had the audacity to suggest that my Fred Perrys were fake. And that triggered me for a couple of seconds, because I would not wear a fake Fred Perry, or wear fake anything. But that initial anger soon subsided into laughter as I quickly realised, the only reason anyone would make that comment is because they couldn't afford an original Fred Perry themselves, because they would wear fakes. Because that's the thing about trolls, that's why they don't bother me, because it's all projection. You know what they're accusing you of is basically what they do. I mean, that's the way they work. So that comment soon, you know, I literally went for a second like, you cheeky bastard, you fucking loser. You know what I mean? So it doesn't bother me. But anyway, I have gone off track now, which is nothing unusual. But yeah, this guy, I used to watch his channel, and he would always say, you know, he was always banging on about how terrible single mothers were, and he used to have this phrase, I won't name him because I don't dig people out, you know, but his expression was he had invited chaos into his life. You could tell straight away from that comment, you could tell so much if you watch people and the way they talk. Everything was his life, and I've no doubt that's why he had so many bad experiences, because, for want of a better word, he's a selfish prick. He only cares about himself, and that is why I think a lot of relationships don't work out here. Now, the vast majority, I've come to the conclusion do. I think you are much better getting with a Filipino if you are looking for a long-term relationship than you are with a Thai. Now, a lot of us might not be looking for long-term relationships. I'm not advocating you are or you do. I'm just saying, I think, from what I have observed here, the average Filipina is looking for the longer term when you're in a relationship. That doesn't mean, you know, there aren't lots who are into short-term fun and all the rest of it, but they want a commitment. And my experience, from what I've seen, single mums are more interested in a commitment, a longer-term commitment, than most of the others, because they've had it tough. They have been left bringing up a child. They have been burned. So the last thing they want to do is end up in a relationship where they get burnt again and get left, quite literally, holding the baby. So yeah, you know, and I know a few guys over there. I mean, Mark Thornton said to me once, some of the happiest guys he knows were older guys in their 70s or whatever, who were in relationships with single mothers because they were enjoying bringing the child up. It gave them a purpose in their later years, and I think that's lovely. I think there's anything wrong with that. But Filipinos make good marriage material from what I've seen. I think the trouble is, a lot of people over here, a lot of expats, and I am going to dig out these expats now, because I don't know why, if you are the kind of expat I'm about to talk about, I don't know why you get yourself in a relationship in the first place, because it is possible to live over here. I'm going to turn the camera around now because of the sun. You don't have to settle down. You can stay single. But there seems to be a pattern in the relationships that don't work. And as I say, there will be exceptions. There will be exceptions where the guy is totally not to blame. It is the Filipina. I'm not saying that they're all perfect. I'm not. I'm saying your typical Filipina just wants a better life. And the trouble is, a lot of expats come here and they are looking for a better life. But their better life is, or their vision of a better life is not the same as the Filipina. They want to go out. Now look at this now, the sun's, I'm going to turn it around. They are looking to have a good time. They are looking to enjoy themselves. They are looking to go out during the day and spend beers and, you know, socialise with their friends. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Trouble is, a lot of Filipinos have a different outlook on life. You know, they are very family orientated over here. So a lot of them will find it hard to understand why you are not as family orientated as they are. And doesn't mean they're going to ask you to support the family. They may not want you to support the family. And if they do want you to support the family, then it's up to you whether you do it. If you want to, if you're in love and you feel like you should do, then do it. If you can afford to. If, however, you don't feel that you want to, or you can't afford it, or you feel pressured into doing it, or bullied into doing it, don't do it. You know, it's as simple as that, really. I know it's not that simple when you're in a relationship, but that's the way I look at it. I mean, do what you feel is right. It's all anyone can do. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, so the relationships that don't work out, I will say the majority of them, the Filipina has gone into it with the best intentions. I don't think most of them have gone into it with the long-term plan of scamming you out of your fortunes and savings, because they're simple folk. I don't think many of them think that far ahead. And the ones that do, you've got to try and avoid, which is why I've said many, many times, don't rush into relationships, don't get married straight away, don't build land and things, etc, etc. No, I think a lot of them, they go into the relationship looking for a better life. But sometimes they end in relationships and they realise they haven't got a better life. They may be more financially secure, but, you know, they are not in sync with their partner or husband's desires. They don't understand why he wants to go out and drink and socialise. They don't understand why he has no concern for their family. They don't get it, you know, because it's a different culture. So what was the point in this video? Because I've gone here and there with this one today. It just got me thinking when I was at that party. The fact that they were saying that to her. The fact that they were suggesting that. I think it says a lot about the Filipino psychology. I think they do just want a better life. And because that's what they want, they will invariably sacrifice other things. You know, it made me laugh. A couple of months ago, I made a suggestion in a video that, you know, older guys, or not old guys, but older guys are more attractive to your average Filipina than younger Western guys. Because the premise of my argument was, not they found us more sexually attractive, just they were looking for stability and maturity and financial security over other things. And my God, I got some feedback off that from the younger guys, which in all honesty just proved my point. You know, they're immature. I mean, that's why they're so easily triggered. I mean, one of the things that makes me laugh about younger guys is, I'm not digging them out, I'll say it how I see it, but they always seem to think, and I was a younger guy once, we all were, that's why I don't get it. They seem to think that older guys are boring and, you know, they don't do this and they don't do that. Well, newsflash, we've done what you do. We've all stayed out late, we've all partied, we've all drunk in the early hours, we've all danced on tables, we've all done all these things. But we find it boring now. We've grown out of it. You know, it's a rite of passage, it's what happens in the world. You know, you don't have the monopoly on happiness. And while I'm upsetting you younger guys, I'll tell you now, your average Filipina does not spend her life dreaming of you, of some young Western guy with blue eyes and a six-pack. Your average Filipina dreams of Korean boy bands. That's who they want. They want Koreans, young Korean men with their jet black hair and their, can't think how to describe them, their can't think of the word anyway, but that's what they want. You know, it was all about sex and that. They'd be interested in young Filipino guys. But I say we've done that subject to death. And it doesn't have to be a compromise. I mean, I tell you now, you know, if you are in a relationship where she's just looking for, you know, a better life, no reason why the sex can't be great. You know, no reason why you can't have fun. And if you do have all of those things, you know, then fantastic, power to you. You will have the perfect marriage. And I'm sure a lot of people do. Just saying, to your average Filipina, that's not the most important part of the equation. In my humble, considered opinion, your average Filipina wants one thing: a better life. Be it for her, or be it for her kid, or kids plural, or extended family in some cases. And I'm not saying that's not a tricky one, it is, but you've got to choose more carefully if you're in a dating stage, haven't you, if you want to avoid that kind of a situation. But that's it, you know. I have not reinvented the wheel today. I'm just trying to add a bit of balance to the equation, because so many people seem to want on YouTube, and they get thousands and thousands of views, paint Filipinos out to be these terrible people who are just after money, and they've taken you for this and they've taken you for that. And you think, well, have a bit of self-reflection. Have you done something wrong? Because it may have happened to you. In a lot of cases it'll be sad that it happened to you, but there are a hell of a lot of people over here who are in long-term stable relationships with kids and all the rest of it through the marriage, who never had that experience. Why was that? Probably because they chose more carefully. Hell, a lot of it will be luck, but most of all it will be them. It will be their attitudes. It will be the way they have treated their partner. It will be the time they have invested in making the relationship work. So there you go. The Philippines is a good place to come if you are looking for a relationship, because when you break it down in simple terms, she's looking for a better life, you're looking for a better life. You give her a better life, you provide, you're caring, you're attentive to her needs. I'm not saying be a simp, I'm just saying, you know, if you are considerate, you will generally find that she will go out of her way to improve your life. She will cook for you, she will love you, she will treat you well, she may even treat you like a king. And at the end of the day, isn't that what the vast majority of us want? Anyway, I've said my piece, I'm done now. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed, I'll be very happy if you did. But whether you do, whether you don't, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, stay safe, be lucky.